If you've ever said, "I don't care, whatever you want," and then gone home and quietly resented that person for a decision you refused to make, this video is for you. People-pleasing doesn't make people love you more. It makes them trust you less. Because somewhere, underneath all the "it's fine," they can feel that they're not actually getting you. They're getting a version of you that's scared to lose them. And today, I'm going to show you exactly why you do this. And, more importantly, the 3 shifts that actually stop it. Not just set boundaries, because if it were that easy, you'd have done it already. Let's get specific, because people-pleasing hides inside things that look normal. It's agreeing to plans you don't want to go to. It's saying, "no worries," when there were, in fact, worries. It's letting a partner pick the restaurant, the movie, the vacation, the entire relationship pace, every single time, and calling it easygoing. Here's the tell. If you'd genuinely be fine either way, that's flexibility. That's healthy. But if some version of you is quietly keeping score, if you're accommodating and resentful, that's not flexibility. That's a trauma response with a friendly face, and it doesn't just show up in decisions. It shows up in feelings, too. It's texting back, "haha, all good," while your stomach is in knots. It's staying quiet when they make a comment that actually hurt, because bringing it up feels riskier than swallowing it. It's apologizing for things that were never your fault, just to get the tension in the room to go away faster. There's actually a clinical name for this. Psychologists call it fawning, and it sits right alongside fight, flight, and freeze as a survival response to threat. Here's what that means. At some point, often early, often in a family or relationship where disagreement felt dangerous, your nervous system learned a rule. The rule was, safety comes from being agreeable, not from being right, not from being yourself, from being easy to be around. So this isn't a character flaw. You didn't choose to be like this. Your body found a strategy that kept you safe once. Merge with what the other person wants. Avoid the friction. Avoid the risk of losing them. And it worked well enough that it became automatic. The problem is, the thing that protected you at 7, or in a relationship 5 years ago, is now running the show in a relationship where you're actually safe. And it's costing you the closeness you're trying so hard to protect. This is where attachment comes in, and this part matters, so stay with me. If you lean anxious in how you attach to people, your nervous system has one core fear running in the background: abandonment. And people-pleasing feels like a logical insurance policy against that fear. The thinking, and it's not conscious, it's felt, not thought, goes like this. If I'm easy, if I don't ask for much, if I never become too much, they won't leave. Here's the part that stings a little. This only works if your worth is tied to their reaction. And when your self-worth depends on someone else's approval, you can't actually be yourself around them, because being yourself is the risk you're managing against. That's the trap. You people please to create closeness. But closeness requires 2 real people showing up. And if one of you has been quietly editing themselves this whole time, the relationship was never as close as it looked. So here's the irony, and I want this to actually land. People-pleasing doesn't protect the relationship. It quietly kills the thing you're trying to build. Because intimacy isn't built on agreement. It's built on being known. And you cannot be known by someone while you're managing their perception of you. Okay, here's what actually changes this. Not just say no more, because that's advice for someone who's already healed. This is for the process. Shift 1. Delay the yes. People pleasers say yes instantly. It's reflexive. It happens before you've even checked in with what you want. So build in a pause. Literally practice saying, "let me think about that and get back to you." That's it. That single sentence breaks the automatic reflex and gives your actual preference a chance to catch up to your mouth. Shift 2. Practice disagreement in low-stakes moments first. Don't start your boundary-setting career with the biggest conversation in your relationship. Start with the restaurant, the movie, the small preference. Say, actually, I'd rather do X about something that doesn't threaten the relationship. Because you're not just changing a behavior, you're teaching your nervous system, through repetition, that disagreement doesn't equal danger. That's a felt lesson, not a logical one. It has to be practiced. Something as small as, I'd actually rather stay in tonight, is a full rep. Your nervous system doesn't know the difference between a movie choice and a life-altering conversation. It just registers. I disagreed, and nothing bad happened. That's the data it's been missing. Give it 100 small reps before you ask it to handle a big one. Shift 3. Get curious about the discomfort instead of collapsing into it. When you feel that urge to smooth things over, to say, it's fine when it's not, pause and ask, what am I afraid will happen if I'm honest right now? Usually the honest answer is something like, they'll be upset, or they'll pull away. Name that fear specifically. Once it's named, you can actually check it against reality, instead of letting it run the show silently, the way it has been. Here's the mindset shift underneath all three of those. Boundaries are not the opposite of love. They're the proof of it. Think about it. Anyone can be agreeable to a stranger. Being honest, especially when it risks friction, is something you only do with someone you're actually invested in. When you stop performing ease and start showing up as an actual person, preferences, limits, opinions and all, you're not risking the relationship. You're finally giving it something real to hold on to. And notice something else. The fear underneath people-pleasing is almost always, if I show them the real me, they'll leave. But think about what that means if it's true. If someone would actually leave the moment you had a preference, an opinion, a limit, they were never staying for you. They were staying for the performance. Which means the version of the relationship you were protecting by people-pleasing was never really the one you wanted anyway. And the people worth keeping? They don't want the easy version of you. They want the real one. The people-pleasing version was never actually protecting the relationship. It was just delaying finding out whether it could hold the truth. So if you recognized yourself in this video, the instant yes, the whatever you want, the quiet resentment underneath the easygoing surface, that's not a personality flaw you're stuck with. It's a pattern you learned, which means it's a pattern you can unlearn. Start today with the smallest one. The next time someone asks you something, don't answer instantly. Pause. Let yourself actually check in with what you want first. Remember, connect with yourself and others. Reflect on your experiences and choices. Repeat the process, because growth is not a destination. It's a way of living. If this hit home, subscribe. I break down the psychology behind why we love the way we love, twice a week, right here. And drop a comment. What's one moment this week where you said yes when you meant no? I read everyone. Think deeply. Live intentionally. Grow continually.